After losing his wife 3 years ago, billionaire businessman Rehan Malik had built his life around two things: his work and his children, Ayan and Hania. But work always won. His heart was broken, his home felt empty, and he believed that drowning himself in meetings was the only way to survive the pain. He hired a new maid, Sarah, a quiet, soft-spoken woman who seemed to have a natural warmth that the children immediately bonded with. Rehan appreciated her work but hardly paid attention. He was always late, always tired, always emotionally absent. One Friday, however, he canceled an overseas meeting and decided to surprise his kids by coming home early. As his driver pulled up to the mansion gates, he felt nervous. Would the kids be happy? Or would they barely notice? His thoughts were interrupted by the sound of laughter echoing from inside the house. Not ordinary laughter, pure, innocent, joyful laughter he hadn't heard since before his wife died. Confused, he quietly stepped inside. The sight before him made him freeze in place. His grand dining room, usually silent, was filled with light and warmth. Sarah stood at the center, wearing her green maid uniform, smiling gently as she served chocolate cake to Ayan and Hania. But it wasn't the cake that shocked Rehan, it was the children. For the first time in years, they looked truly alive. Ayan, who used to stay locked in his room, now laughed so loudly that his dimples showed. And Hania, who hadn't spoken much since her mother passed away, chatted non-stop, telling Sarah stories, giggling as if she had rediscovered her voice. Rehan stood there silently, his eyes misting. He watched as Sarah cut another slice, leaning down to wipe frosting from Hania's cheek with the same affection a mother would show. She wasn't just serving them, she was healing them. Suddenly, Ayan looked up and shouted, "Papa! You're home early." Both kids ran toward him, hugging him so tightly he stumbled back. Rehan lifted them into his arms, overcome with emotion. "What's all this?" he asked softly. Hania pointed at the cake. "Sarah baked it for us. She taught me how to mix the chocolate. She said laughter makes the cake sweeter." Rehan looked at Sarah. Her eyes lowered shyly, unsure if he would scold her for doing more than her duties. But instead, he walked closer, noticing how gently she had arranged everything: the plates, the decor, the candles. Something about her presence brought warmth into the mansion that money had failed to buy. When he sat at the table with the kids, he noticed something else: they weren't afraid anymore. They weren't lost, quiet, or broken. They were glowing, and he realized he hadn't seen them glow since his wife's death. "Thank you," he whispered to Sarah when the kids weren't paying attention. She shook her head. "Sir, I only did what any caring person would do." They needed love, not rules. Rehan's chest tightened. They needed love, and so did I, he thought. As the evening continued, Sarah told the children funny stories, taught them how to fold napkins into swans, and even encouraged Rehan to taste the cake. He hadn't smiled this much in years. At one point, he caught himself laughing, a deep, genuine laugh that surprised even him, and it hit him like a wave. This woman had brought life back into his home. She had given his children the softness they had been starved of. She had filled a void that he believed would stay empty forever. The more he observed her, the more he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time: gratitude, admiration, and a strange warmth blooming inside his heart. Later that night, after putting the kids to sleep, Rehan found Sarah cleaning up the dining table. "Sarah," he said quietly. She turned, slightly startled. "Yes, sir." He took a deep breath. "I saw what you did today. I saw what you've done for my children all these months. You didn't just care for them, you healed them." Her eyes softened, and she whispered, "They healed me too, sir. This house gave me a purpose." For a moment, they stood in silence, their pain and healing intertwined in the air. Rehan felt a tear slip down his cheek, one he didn't bother to hide. "Thank you, Sarah. You gave me my family back." She smiled gently. "You always had them, sir. They were just waiting for you." That night, as Rehan walked to his room, he paused and looked back at the warm light glowing from the dining area, light Sarah had unknowingly brought into their lives. For the first time in 3 years, he felt hope.